We've seen in some previous tutorials how you can use the myPlan hazards directly through their application. But the hazards that are available through the application are actually being served as ArcGIS services. So this particular application is not the only one that you can use to view the hazards. Any client that can read ArcGIS services can be used in addition. So in this tutorial, we're going to show how to use some of the myHazards layers in a different application. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at an area in San Francisco, and we're going to look at some of the different hazards there, including the shaking zone and some of the fault zones. But we're going to look at it in a different tool. In this example, we're going to use ArcExplorer GIS. And if you have more sophisticated GIS like ArcMap or something, then a very similar scenario will work for you as well. ArcGIS Explorer Online is a nice sort of simple GIS application that works completely in your browser. And it has some other nice features, one of which is that you can store some simple maps directly onto an ArcGIS service if you create one. And in my case, I've started with a simple map that shows some example hazards in the San Francisco Bay Area. Let's open that up. And what we're going to look at in this case is the Berkeley football stadium, the Memorial Stadium. They're doing some earthquake retrofits in 2011 and moving this to AT&T Park. So let's imagine that we're interested in what kind of hazards exist at the old location and what kind of hazards we might want to see in the new location. So the map that I saved already included a pointer to the Memorial Coliseum here, and then it also included some of the hazards that were downloaded or connecting to the myPlan services. In this case, we can look at the shaking, for example, or we can look at the fault zones. And we can see that there is a fault zone that runs right through the Coliseum. So it's sort of obvious why they want to do some retrofits to that. So in 2011, they're going to move the stadium to AT&T Park, and we might be interested in what kind of new hazards they might be having to worry about. So we'll go ahead and use Esri's search service and just search for AT&T Park, and we can find that they have a pointer to that. If we add that in, now we have a second pointer in our map. If we were to zoom out a little bit, we can see that it's about 10 or so miles away from the existing park. Now, you can go and look at the same hazards that we had before and see that at least we're farther away from some of the fault zones in this case. The shaking might be about the same between them, but we're quite a bit closer to the ocean now. And so in this case, we might be wondering more about, for example, tsunami risk. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add content to this, and we'll add a GIS service. And this GIS service, you point directly to the myPlan RESTful services. And we can go down and look at our tsunami risk. And go ahead and add that into our thing. Now if we look back at our map, we can move that into our hazards folder as well. And now by turning off and on the tsunami risk, we can see that the AT&T Park might be a little bit more susceptible to that particular risk. And so if we were doing some planning, we might want to include that. And that kind of gives a good demonstration of how to use the myPlan services in a different GIS.